That means it's now time, though, to break out the Karalla Strader. And a lot of Mavericks, Bobby, played well last night. One didn't play so great, but at the same time can still have an impact on this team. I'm talking about four-time NBA champion and Mavericks newcomer Klay Thompson.
Yes, the discourse is discoursing. The worries are worrying. A lot of people have a lot of Klay takes. He's come back and played a couple games and hasn't shot it that well. But I wanted to highlight how the Grizzlies were defending the Mavs whenever Klay is on the floor versus how they were defending the Mavs whenever Klay was off the floor, even whenever a shooter who was shooting the ball better than Klay right now is on the floor. But real quick, I want to give you a couple stats. Klay this year, just 12.7 points per game. That is obviously his lowest since his rookie season. 36% from three. That is the lowest of his career, although it's only been 18 games. He missed a few with plantar fascia. This season, Mavs have been way better with just two of their big three on the floor as opposed to all three. Whenever all three of them are on the floor, the Mavs are plus 1.1 per 100 possessions. Whenever it's Klay and Luka, Mavs are plus 23.2. Whenever it's Klay and Kyrie, the Mavs are plus 8. Whenever it's Kyrie and Luka, the Mavs are plus 27. Granted, those guys have missed so many games collectively. It hasn't been a lot of minutes with any of them on the floor as just a duo. But the trio, they've played 285 minutes. They're playing winning basketball, and that's despite Luka getting off to a slow start, and in particular, Klay getting off to a slow start. But here are some examples from last night's game. We're going to cruise through these. Tanner, let's go to play one, pick one. Now, I can't show video, otherwise Adam Sandler. Adam Silver will come down from Secaucus or whatever and yell at me, so you're going to have to watch these.
And we've already established he is watching.
He is watching.
Right.
He's always watching.
Now. He watches every stream.
So the Mavs five-some on the floor is Luka, Dinwiddie, Kyrie, and Maxi Kleber. They're around the perimeter. Keep an eye on Santi Aldama. That's Maxi's man. Now, the Grizzlies are going to double Luka. He's got it going right now. They're going to force the ball out of his hands. So Desmond Bane is going to leave Dinwiddie, and everybody's going to rotate. So you'll see Scottie Pippen come up and guard Dinwiddie. You'll see Aldama go and guard Kyrie. So as we go to this next frame, Luka's swinging the ball to Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie's now reversing the ball over to Kyrie. Now, this shows they are leaving Maxi Kleber in the corner. He is all by himself. Maxi Kleber is wide open. As we go to the next picture, Maxi Kleber, after the ball gets swung again, is still wide open. Aldama is now rotating down to Daniel Gafford. They are just basically, the Mavericks are playing this possession 4-on-5. This is because the Grizzlies are willing to concede something. You have to concede something against Luka Doncic. He's too good. You have to concede something against Kyrie. He's too good. And so as we go to the final picture of this, Luka is going to try and kick it out to Kyrie. Again, Maxi is so wide open. Look at that. This play ends up in a turnover, though. Kyrie doesn't catch the pass cleanly. Scottie Pippen ends up stripping it and taking it to the house. So the Mavs had to play this possession 4-on-5. It doesn't matter how good Luka and Kyrie are. It's really hard to score 4-on-5. What if Maxi was a slightly better shooter, though? What if Maxi was Quentin Grimes? Let's go to the next sequence, and you're going to see it doesn't matter. Quentin Grimes is one of the hottest shooters over the last couple weeks. As Kyrie gets around Scottie Pippen on the perimeter, big man Jay Huff is going to follow him as well. The Grizzlies' bigs were playing up at the level of the screen and then retreating toward the rim. So you're going to watch Desmond Bane in this weak side corner. He is going to completely abandon Quentin Grimes in the corner. As we go to the next picture, Jay Huff is containing Kyrie, but Bane rotates super early. Again, they are leaving Grimes wide open. Quentin Grimes, a career 45% shooter or something absurd from the corner. He's scored 20 points in 3 straight games at this point. It doesn't matter. They are going to do whatever they can to keep Kyrie from scoring at the rim, and as Kyrie rises for this jumper, he eventually misses it. But you see Bane ends up this play on this next picture. Bane ends the play all the way in the restricted area. Okay, no, it's all good. It's you're just gonna have to trust me. Bane keeps going. They're leaving Grimes wide open. Now let's look at a couple examples of when Klay was on the floor. Okay, so it's the exact same configuration as the previous play, only it's Gafford instead of Lively, it's Luka instead of Kyrie, and it's Klay instead of Grimes. But the spacing is the same. The exact same situation is unfolding. So Luka is going to get around John Morant. You see Jaren Jackson playing at the level of the screen, hands wide. Marcus Smart is playing the gaps. The Grizzlies are defending this perfectly. And as Luka puts the ball on the floor and we get to this next picture, look at Luke Kennard in the corner. He is not rotating over to help on Gafford. He's staying home on Klay. He doesn't even have a foot in the paint. He is way out on Klay. Now, part of this is because Luka's such a good passer that Kyrie, you might not, as an opponent, you might be willing to bet that Kyrie can't make that pass, whereas Luka has the height and the size and the vision and the strength to make that pass more accurately. But where things get even more dire for the Grizzlies is in this next picture. Luka's going to hit Ja with a little bit of a chicken wing to create some space. Jaren Jackson is now engaged with Gafford, and so Luka's about to get either a wide-open floater or a wide-open layup. And again, Luke Kennard in the weak side corner is powerless to help this because he is probably going to get yelled at by like 5 different people if he leaves Klay wide open for 3. So we go to this final picture. Luka's got a clean look at the rim. That's probably the easiest bucket he's going to score in this game. And the Grizzlies are a top 10 defense in the league. And they have said, we would rather Luka get floaters and Kyrie get pull-ups than Klay get open threes. We'll let Quentin Grimes get an open 3. We're not going to let Klay beat us. Let's go to this last play now. Klay again in the weak side corner, being guarded by Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is kind of a gambler on defense, right? He's got the strength to contend with bigs. He's got really good instincts, really good hands. He can play passing lanes, create a lot of havoc, and force a lot of turnovers. Gafford gets a nice screen on Ja. Kyrie's going to come around the corner going left. As we go to this next screen, Kyrie blows by Ja. Jackson is now trying to keep up with Kyrie. You have Brandon Clark on the strong side corner helping way off of PJ. Marcus Smart, though, is not helping at all off of Klay. This is all being contained right now. Klay is pulling the defender away from the play. Kyrie recognizes this is happening, and so as we go to this next play, or next screenshot, he's going to just drop off a pass to Daniel Gafford. He's completely engaged Jackson and Ja at this point. Gafford's going to collect this ball and go up, and Marcus Smart is just going to have to watch this whole thing on this last play. He's still, as Daniel Gafford is rising to go for an and one layup, Smart is still not leaving Klay. I mean, he kind of is now because the play's basically over. But that entire play happened, and Smart was powerless. He had to stay next to Klay in the corner. And so that's just a few examples from one game. Of course, Klay's played 18. His numbers have not been impressive. He has been disappointing. I thought that he was going to be a better shooter. I thought he was going to be, maybe a little more dynamic off the dribble. I have liked his defense so far this season. I think he's been pretty good defensively for the most part, outside of some sequences when he had to guard Ja, which is really tough to do. But we're seeing the impact of just him being on the floor. Like there's one less body in the lane, and whenever you're Kyrie or Luka, you're 2 of the best scorers of all time, 2 of the best finishers, especially Luka. Around the rim, he's like an 80% shooter. He's just unbelievable. Whenever you have one less player to worry about, it makes your job so much easier. And so I would say, as Klay continues to get a little more used to the offense, a little more, knowing where he's going to get his spots and everything, I would just say be a little patient with that and be more appreciative of like, Jesus, these looks are clean that these guys are getting. Now, if it's April and he's still shooting 36%, oh boy, that's going to be a bummer. But for now, it's been good.
Yeah.
And spacing is not always a logical thing in the NBA. NBA defenders, so often, they treat spacing or they treat the threat of a shooter by reputation. Klay Thompson, it doesn't matter what he's shooting. It doesn't matter if he stays a 36% shooter. Certainly the Dallas hope's not. He's going to be, more shots going in, more ability to, more confidence for him to just launch. Like there's way too many, dribble and then shoot, type situations from Klay. I think right now everybody's kind of seen that he's either passing up or he's not taking the first open look. But that spacing, I truly believe it doesn't matter how bad. He could shoot worse than he's shooting right now. He could take fewer shots. That passive spacing, that passive effect on, of just stretching out a defense is always going to be there when he's on the court.
The mere threat of him being out there beyond the 3-point line. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't. The rest of it doesn't matter to that specific aspect of what he brings to the court. Again, the rest of his offense, what he is actually producing, that is something that we would all like to see improve. It's Dallas would like to see it improve. Dallas expects for it to improve, but genuinely, I do believe that's going to be there no matter what happens. And certainly it is, as Bobby, just laid out in depth. It's definitely having a positive effect on the team.
One quick tag at the end of this, one stat. So Mike Jones mentioned in the chat, Klay had 5 shots. Are these guys okay? We are okay. But part of the reason that he only had 5 shots is because teams are hugging him. That's kind of the whole point. So this season, despite Klay shooting 36% from 3, He's shooting 40% on open threes and 40% on wide open threes. Now, I'd like that 40% on wide open to be a little higher, but the real
best shooters can do like 45.
Yeah, the real kicker, though, is he's only 16.7% on tight looks. Teams just aren't leaving him open a lot, and so sometimes you see like his only clean looks are coming in transition. He's not getting any clean looks in the half court. It's either transition or off offensive rebounds against a scrambling defense. In the half court, it does feel like he's having to force some stuff. So part of that is on the Mavs and Luka and Kyrie to get him better looks or to try and find a way to get him clean looks in half court, in rhythm. But in the meantime, he's got a 57.5 effective field goal percentage when he touches the ball for less than 2 seconds. It's 40% between 2 and 6 seconds, and it's 8% in more than 6 seconds. So whenever he's trying to force stuff, it has not been going well. But whenever he's just playing like Klay Thompson, he's shooting it really well. I mean, 40% is great.
Yeah.
It's all the other stuff that's kind of not as good.
And yes, Bjorn Nowitzki, Bobby was in the zone during the Karalla Strader segment, or as Tim likes to call it, Bobalysis. Either way, it was dope. Appreciate Bobby.
It's just
Karalla.
fun to say. Hey, you listening to the stream right now, try just saying it out loud. Bobalysis.
And Bobby, I'll go ahead and let you read that one because they were watching. All Eyes on Me was watching your Karalla Strader segment talking about Klay Thompson. I'll let you go ahead and read that.
I don't agree with the Klay take. I get it. He isn't having the best season, but he only had 5 shots yesterday. Hard to find a rhythm in games like that. Yeah, absolutely. It is really hard. You're out there for how many minutes did he play? 20, 25 minutes, something like that, and you only get 5
in a
shots.
restriction, an injury restriction. It was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
just to clarify, yeah.
But only 5 shots in 20 minutes, and generally, he doesn't touch the ball on a possession-to-possession basis very often because generally, again, teams are hugging him, and so he's almost kind of shooting it every time he touches it. And that sort of mental thing of like, man, I finally get a touch now. I should do something with it because I don't know when I'm going to touch the ball again. That's been an issue that has risen up with plenty of players throughout the era. We saw, Tim Hardaway Jr., for example, was like, I'm touching the ball. I'm putting this S up right now.
Right.
Like, because I don't know, it's hard to create your own rhythm, whereas in Golden State, it was much more free-flowing, much more breakneck speed, wide open, where even if you're not touching the ball, you're still moving and you can create some physical rhythm that way. So that is the thing that the Mavs, need to try and figure out. But fortunately, everyone else is playing so well and everything else is going so well that, if Klay does start playing like Klay Thompson, then like Jesus.
Yeah, look out. The Mavericks offense has been a top 10 offensive rated team all year long, hovering around the top 5 really all year long. If Klay Thompson gets it going, this Mavericks offense could be that much better.
We all silly like the mayor.